Hi everyone, it's Erin here. Welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. I literally finished my coach course about 10 minutes ago. We did 8 days straight, so I am a mix of exhilarated and exhausted. We had a more intimate group this time. We had 6 total in person, 1 person online for a total of 7. So we had Michelle. Michelle's going to come back and make up some days next time. We had Matt and Bodie. We had Brenda, Samantha, and April, and Cindy. So all together, it was a vibrant group. I really enjoyed working with them, and every group is different. And this group just, right off the bat, they were just ready and open for the work. They were just receiving it, just like hungry for it. And I got to watch everyone change so much. One of the students, Matt, he went up and he sang karaoke, not once, not twice, but 3 times. I was like so happy for him. And April was out there dancing, and everybody just opened up. It's like just so beautiful to watch people work through their stuff and let go of years of pain in front of you and just find their truth. So that is inspiration for today's podcast, which is spiritual community, Sangha, the importance of spiritual community. It's one of the things that I started saying in my trainings, the last couple, and I say at every coach course. You need a spiritual community. Absolutely. So, and if, you're going to a church and you're like, well, I have a spiritual community, but I don't resonate with them, find a different one. Doesn't matter. And I tell my coach people, I'm like, listen, it doesn't have to be this community, though this community is awesome, but find one. You have to find like-minded people that you can talk with about deeper matters, because otherwise it's like there's so much fighting against it about uncovering your truth and being authentic. There's so much fake in the world. And so it's like, if you don't have a spiritual community to ground into, then it's so easy, it's too easy to get caught up in all the bullshit outside and forget who you are. It's just, having a Sangha can save your life. People in your Sangha, in your spiritual community, they're connected to the inner wisdom that we all have inside of us, but the difference is they're connected. And so in a spiritual community, you could have people that become messengers for you. Like they tell you things that you need to hear that you didn't know, or like you've been thinking about something and they kind of nudge you the right way. By opening up to spiritual community and like making effort. It's a relationship. You have to apply effort. It's really rewarding. So spiritual community is super important. We have multiple ones here at Thrive. We have our yoga community, and then we have our coach community, and then sometimes like they kind of come together. Like a couple of people from my coaching course are now going to my Costa Rica retreat, which, by the way, I have 3 spots floating around, 3 spots for my Costa Rica yoga teacher training retreat. It's good to sign up soon because we are doing an online module before we go, and I'm teaching some of these coaching techniques. We're going to go over the clear formula, the emotional processing, and if we have time, the relationship toolbox, which I think we would have time because that would take 2 days, so I at least get to touch upon it. That way, when we go together out in Costa Rica and spending 2 weeks with each other, that we have the emotional tools to where we can communicate and have a really good time together. So it does make a difference. So having spiritual community, it's necessary, it's important, it will ground you back into your practices and, keep you a little bit accountable. If you go somewhere and nobody knows your name and like nobody really gives a shit what you're doing, like, does it really matter if you show up? I mean, it might matter a little bit less. But if you're going to a place where like, oh, people know your name, and like the people here, like the one guy, Marcus, is like, oh, you weren't here at this class. And I'm like, I see what you're doing, throwing shade, Marcus. But it's good because then people are like, oh, if I don't go to this, like blah, blah, blah is going to give me shit. That's good. You want that a little bit. You want people to give you a little bit of shit for things you know that you should do, right? Y'all, I am so exhausted but satisfied. I feel like I want to go into a coma slumber, like in a little cocoon, which is how I feel after coach school. It's like this big push and sharing of my heart and recognizing the truth in others, which I definitely have the power to do. But afterwards, I want to kind of like cocoon and like pull into myself, almost like Shiva, like going into like that sleepy meditation state, and just like recharge my batteries. Or I might just curl up in a blanket and order Thai food and like zone out on TV. But I give myself full permission after I lead this 8-day course to just fucking chill. Which like, that's hard to get my brain on board with. Like, okay, she deserves to rest. Okay, let's leave her alone. Usually I have to be like, shut up, brain. I get to lay down for an hour. Like, stop it. So, by the way, by being a coach and having these tools and being a yogi does not mean that you like have a perfect life or that you don't get angry. Like, one of my students told me today, he's like, you know what I really like about you? He's like, you're not one of those spiritual people that like just goes along with what everybody says. Like, you have your opinions about something and you'll say, no, okay, yeah, I see that here, but this is where I stand on this, and it might be different than what you think, and that's okay. Because I have the communication skills. I'm a spiritual person. I'm a kind person. I'm generous. Like, I'm all these things, but I get angry, right? I did a recent podcast on that. I curse, right? I play roller derby. I hit a bitch hits me. So I think maybe that makes me relatable, hopefully. I never pretend to be pious. I don't want to be put up on a pedestal. I am, just like anybody else. Like, yeah. So I am so grateful to be able to lead these courses. I'm leading my next coach course. You can tell I'm tired. I'm like flopping my words around. I'm doing my next coach course in September. So if you want to come and hang out with me, and I take you through about 40 different tools, and then afterwards you have a 6-month mentorship with me. I promise I can pronounce my words when I'm in the course, but afterwards, all bets are off. I will flop and keep messing up my words. So on that note, I wanted to record a little something because I haven't had a chance because I've been in coach school. I keep it real and authentic for you. And yeah, I love you. Thank you so much for listening. I love hearing from you. Please shoot me an email, shoot me a letter. Mark, I hope you got my package with all the books. And that you can share that with your community. It's harder for me to write back to stuff, but I read your letter and I read it this time because I could read it. So yeah, I'm interested in providing more, and I will not be cashing that check because I want to just give to you. So let me know how many more books you need. All right, thank you everyone. Have a fantastic week, and namaste.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to support the podcast and if it's helping you, please consider writing a review. You can go to iTunes or Google Play, go into the search bar and type in Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching, scroll down, and you can leave a review. This helps other people to find me as well as bumps us up in the search ratings. Also, this podcast is sponsor-free, so that means we don't receive anything for doing it. If you feel so inclined and this podcast is helping to support you and you want to return the favor and help to support any production costs of the podcast, feel free to give a donation to a Venmo link, Thrive Yoga Fit, or PayPal, Erin@erincoach.com. If you don't have the means, don't worry about it. We're not going anywhere. You're all good. But if you would like to give back, you can give back in those ways. Last thing, we have a coaching certification coming up, and it's 7 days of an intensive work, followed by a 3-month mentorship. You will not find another teacher that's more passionate and dedicated than I am to my students and their learning, and not just their learning, but the application and how they show up in their life. If you've been listening to this podcast and it's had a huge impact on your life, just imagine what it would be like to spend 7 intensive days with me and then a 3-month mentorship. You can check that out at thriveyogafit.com/coach-certification. Again, thriveyogafit.com/coach-certification. Thank you so much. Namaste.